Hey friends, it's Kevin Goehring here, your Sacramento Stockton area realtor and lender here with this week's weekly real estate report. And wow, do I've got some stuff to share with you this week. But first, the number one question that I am getting these days from my friends and clients is, Kevin, should we sell our home now? The answer, of course, would be in this market, it's almost an unequivocal yes. Now is an absolutely perfect time to sell. But I don't think it get any worse as far as buying goes. So it's actually complicated. So if you're thinking about selling and moving out of state and you're moving to an area that has really good prices, that absolutely now is a fantastic time to sell. Couldn't get much better, really couldn't. As we've been showing, the median price has been going up almost $5,000 each and every week for quite some time. So a lot of equity out there. Yes, it's a great time to sell. But if you're trying to buy here in California, in this area, it is absolutely a horrific time to try and sell your home because it's easy to sell your home, but trying to buy your next home, there are all kind of shenanigans going out there. Well, there's a word we don't use much anymore. But as far as it goes for buyers, it's just a brutal market. And to be brutally honest with you, I don't feel that buyers are even respected anymore by a lot of real estate agents. It's kind of like, hey, I've got the listing. I put the sign up. I threw some pictures in MetroList. Now you need to show up and beg us to consider you to buy this home, which I don't think is appropriate. Buyers are giving up their appraisal rights, their inspection rights, their loan contingency rights. In my world, that is not acceptable. So I don't like being part of that weirdness. I think that we should have more of a normal market where everybody is treated with respect. Hey, that's just me. Nobody asked. So let's, and to make things worse, let's just add some fuel onto that fire. A lot of the landlords out there, having just gone through this COVID, they didn't get their payments. They're sick and tired of being a landlord and being subjected to the laws of the state. Don't get me started on that. And not being able to evict someone who doesn't pay, right? So it's no big secret that here in California, the landlord has far fewer rights than the tenants. And so here you are, you're a landlord, you haven't been collecting rent. What are you going to do? Well, you can sell, right? You still have to get the tenant out, but legally, and there are laws that allow a landlord, even during COVID and even during the eviction moratorium, to in fact evict a tenant under certain conditions if you are selling your home. Well, it's got to be marketed. You can't have tried to evict the tenant previously, has to go through a normal escrow. So it's basically what they're saying is it's a normal legitimate sale, not just something you trying to get rid of the tenants out of the house. You can sell your house. So landlords are choosing in droves to get rid of the rental property, which means that there's nowhere to go for you to rent. So even under the old kind of adage that, hey, now's a great time to sell, go rent something, wait for the market to crash because everybody's now talking about a bubble, and then buy when it's down. You can't. You're going to have a hard time getting a rental. So enough of that. Let's take a look at the chart. All right, this week's chart, to me, every week is very interesting to see what's going to happen, but take a look at this. Our green line is finally starting to take off. What that means is inventory is coming back. Yeah, it's still really low, but it is on its way back. Now, let's think about what do we normally see in the June, July period as far as inventory? Well, if we go back to 2019, we have June and July right in this area right here. So it's still rising up, but it's about ready to peak off. Let's go back to 2018. Here we are, June, July. So there's end of June, getting into July. And you can see that we're right in here. And we still have quite a ways to go before we reach that peak all the way into, August. I have to think on the fly here, August. Back to 2017. Again, we're going to see this go all the way through to June, July, August. 9 was September. So September and end of September. Here we go. June, July into August. So it's normally still climbing quite a bit this time of year. Finally starting to see some normalcy. Hey, let's talk about pending sales though. Look at that. 4 weeks in a row, really, well, 3-4 weeks in a row, a decline in pending sales. All right, so what do we normally see in pending sales? Well, we're going to see it climb all the way into about the end of July is what we saw last time. Over here, we're going to see it climb all the way. Oh, see, we started to climb off there quite early. Here we go back here. So really about the end of or beginning of June, let's say, is kind of a normal decline in the sales market. And then really come 4th of July, you see it start to plummet down. So this is starting to look a little bit normal. The green line is starting to look a little normal. Blue is looking a little bit normal. But look at this over here, the median sales price finally starting to see some level off. Now, it's still too early to call anything because I have to, as I always say, I got to pull the data in later. It's not all in for this week, but we certainly had 2 weeks in a row where it was at least a little flat. The blue and green lines, that is what it is. I don't have to wait for the data to come in on that. So could we be seeing a little bit of a change? Well, I tell you something that was really shocking to me in a secondary chart that I keep track of. And let me pull that up over here on my right real quick because I want to get the number out. I was shocked, and I want to get, again, I'm looking at some stuff on a different chart as far as what comes back on the market, expired, price reductions, price increases. And the real shocker was inactives this week. So normally we're seeing about every week, somewhere between the neighborhood of it's usually about 400 to 500 inactives reported in the MLS system per week. Week prior, we saw it at 690. This week, first time I've ever seen anything like this, 1,163 homes went inactive. So I'd really like to know the story behind some of that. Also, I am still seeing quite a bit of price reductions. This week, again, 544 homes had a price reduction. Now, normally we see 400, 200. So let's just call it an average of 300 in a normal market. And remember, normal market has more homes. So if you do kind of the percentages on that, this is a very high percentage of homes that are having price reductions. What does that mean? It means that either sellers or agents are missing the market. They're thinking that the home is worth way too much. And like I always say, buyers are not stupid. And they're going to look at a home. They're going to say, this is overpriced. Let's pull back. Let's wait and see what happens. Hey, what's happened? You're going to have a price reduction because you're not selling your house. So still important to hit those numbers. Now, I know, I hear it all the time. Kevin, what about the Bay Area buyers with cash? Now, in all fairness, there are some stories out there, and I hear them, I see them, and I can tell you they're true, where occasionally you get somebody who has a lot of cash that will come in and not want to play games and simply say, look, I looked at one yesterday. I know you're asking $790,000 for your house. I don't want to play games. Here's $850. Here's $890. All right. This is the only house like this. This is what we've been looking for 6-8 months. I've got the money. I'll do it. Those are not that common, right? I don't see people from the Bay Area coming in here, going to normal little tract homes in a typical neighborhood saying, whoa, look at that. This house is worth $500,000. They're asking $550. Let's go ahead and give them $60. If it's a typical tract home, it's just not going to happen. You've got to be talking about nicer custom homes or an exclusive area. The one I just mentioned where it went about $100,000 over asking, it was in an exclusive area of Sonoma, right? So we're talking about some specifics. I think enough on that. Anyway, so hey, what about rates? What's going on with rates? Well, rates kind of, they're a little bit all over the place. Now, Freddie Mac is reporting that they went down. So we go back about a month and a half ago. We were kind of skirting around, getting close to 3. Then we hit 3. Then it started dropping down, 2.95. Then went back up, 2.99, 2.96. Now we're at 2.93. So really, in a nutshell, it's been around 3% for your 30-year fixed mortgage for quite some time right now. Boy, I'd have to go back. I'm looking months and months and months. I'd have to go all the way back to pull up the date on this one. February. Really, it was February was 2.73. Then by the end of February, we hit 2.97, and it really has been hovering in and out of 3 plus or minus an eighth ever since then. So Not a lot of news right there. I think that chart would look pretty flat. It is really hot out there, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Father's Day weekend. So to all the guys out there, happy Father's Day. To all the girls out there, gals out there, who are the real heroes behind any man. I always say, behind any successful guy is a very surprised wife. But couldn't do it without my wife. That is absolutely for certain. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you here next week. Take care. Bye.